Well, good morning, everyone. Kaye here on my homestead in Tennessee. We had a break in the storms. Yesterday was actually sunny, but of course the garden was mud, and I was just trying to recuperate from the stormy day before, in and out from under the stairs with the tornado watches and all of that, plus my poison ivy. So it's on this side too, but not nearly as bad as this side. This side really blew up. And last night I got into bed and I went, gosh, that feels tight. And is it infected? Does that mean it's infected? Should I go to the doctor? And, going to the doctor here at night after a storm that's been a flood watch, a flash flood watch all day, I'm thinking, that's not very appealing. So I called my neighbor and Natalie, and she goes, well, all they're going to do is give you that such and such cream and prescription. And I'm going, where am I going to get a prescription at 9 o'clock at night? So I'm sure there's a place, but anyway, the prospect of all of that, it didn't appeal. And so I used the cream, put all the thing, and did the gauze and went to bed, and I'm still here. So it's not any worse, and I have to be reminded of the severe poison ivy infections, well, not infections, but whatever they are, since I've lived here, so it's been quite a journey. Anyway, some people's gardens are underwater. Hopkinsville, Kentucky yesterday was under a foot or two of water. And so I'm so grateful I'm not dealing with that. But I thought, I didn't even really take a look around yesterday. I did go out for 30 minutes. It was 87. Crazy. And I went out at like 3 or something, and I looked at the onions. They looked terrible. Everything else, or of course all the cover crop and all the weeds are just but the onions that I so carefully planted, no, and they look like they're not even going to make it, most of them. So anyway, the soil was dry because it was 87. So I had to water, even though we had inches. I don't even know how many inches the day before of rain. So what we want to go to do right now is just take a look around and see the status and see if I have any standing water anywhere, because guess what? It's coming back tonight. Yeah. So my young helper is here. He's working on that area over by the driveway and clearing off the variegated periwinkle, which is a vine that takes over. Beautiful if you don't want to plant anything else. But if you do, it's a mistake to have it. In fact, I have a regular periwinkle at the edge of my forest in the back, and we'll take a look at that. I looked out the window yesterday, and it has doubled or tripled since I've lived here. And I thought, as long as it stays at the edge of the forest, I'm okay with that, so it does have a pretty blue flower at some point. So let's take a walk around and see how things look. First, I'll just point out that I got 2 beds planted of brassicas before the big storm 2 days ago, and these are still sitting here. So I have 1 more bed to plant, and whatever's left, there's only space for 36. So whatever's left is going home with Randy, and he can grow it out at his garden. These are allium coming up, and so I haven't grown the allium bulbs before, so I'm anxious to see what that looks like. I see the Miami mist coming up in the side down there. We'll have to go check it out. It is such a pretty wildflower. And there's a whole stand over here too. Just an overview. You can see the weeds are really coming up now. In case you're new to the gardening thing, this is an anthill, an active one on either side of a large rock. And this is my largest azalea. And I've got another one starting to bloom over here. Okay, I've got cleavers coming up everywhere. It's very sticky, so it cleaves to your clothing or your fingers. And I forget what this little weed is, but this is everywhere in the spring. It looks a lot like chickweed, but I don't think it's chickweed. Anyway, the weeds are really coming up. Weeds love rain. Okay, here's my side garden that we spent so much time and effort on. It has the new soil added to the previous soil. Those are all weeds coming up on the bean trellis, which has to be repaired. The top came off. Over here, the new plantings. Let's see. This was bare when I put it in the ground. This has some new growth. The rhododendron dropped the flowers and it's got new leaves. No action here on this camellia, one of my favorite plants. The lilacs are still blooming. Comfrey is exploding, and these need to be planted. And many more leaves on this rhododendron. Let's check out these other Rose of Sharon. Yes, yes. They were just, I dug them up and they were just sitting almost bare root in a bucket for a day waiting for me to plant them. And look, they're all taking off. Where's the little one? Where's the little tiny one? Where'd you go? Oh, there it is. Let's see if anything's... Oh my goodness. This sat bare all winter in a little 3/4 gallon pot on my driveway, and I thought... And look, I've got my electroculture copper coil on here. Yes, this is all very promising. I wanted to point out, well, we can talk about that more later. There's a lot to talk about here in this spot. Okay, here's where the river was in the last video. We're going to call it, what should we call it? Late Bloomer River. Let's see if there are any deer tracks in here. I mean, they don't have to walk in the deepest mud. Clearly this has to be worked, so we go around these rocks. Because look at the drop off after the rock. Yeah. So that needs some... This is gonna be a very busy month. Got a lot to do before planting tomatoes and peppers and all of that. Okay. Now I wanted to just come... we're walking all the way to the edge of my property. You saw Randy cut down these trees the other day. And this is the exit for the big trench that Corey dug last year or whenever. I would have loved to have seen the water coming down through here. You see it, you can see it came this way. And I think you can see it come this way. I bet you that was, if I could have stood right here, I bet it was just look how wet, an absolute river. And I was thinking about putting 3 willow trees right here because it's not exactly appealing, you know, this area. So, and I'm not sure what these sprouts are. I would have to look that up. Oh wait, that's got thorns. That's blackberry. Leave it, leave it. Okay. So, just want to point out the 3 pecan trees. Oh, these things really need to be adjusted. The pecan trees are sprouting out. Everything has to be protected from the deer until it gets firmly established. I planted these in the spring of 22. It's got some nice leaves on there. Got one more down here. Is anything happening? A little bit. But this whole thing needs to come up a little higher. Look, I mean, who did that? You know, it's not like we did that. I don't think. Okay, so of course we've got the major leak from the cistern, so we've got a river over here. You know, I could have like 3 willow trees here, but I just keep thinking that I will get it fixed. But now my helper Corey is not going to be, he's not able to work on that, physically able. So I need to find somebody. Here's the Miami mist starting here. And when it's sunny, oh, and here are the, now I knew all these names last year. I think this is the, I want to say, no, it's not. I better not. I'll get it wrong. I've got to review all my picture this plant library. Now, what is that? That looks so, oh, is that anise hyssop? Let's see. No? After looking it up, I remember. Those are separate stems, too. So that's a few plants. That's white snake root. After this next rain, this will just be, this whole area will be covered with the Miami mist. It'll just be white. The flowers are actually pale bluish lavender lilac. Pale lilac, I would say. And that's why I don't mow right away, you know, because I want to see these flowers. But look at all the water that came off here. If it hadn't been lightning, I would have definitely ventured out. This whole tree got so damaged in the straight line winds last year. You can see a lot of it's just hanging dead up there. I need to get all of that cleaned up. All right, let's just take a quick look at the lower garden. I just want to point out the first fruit trees I planted are right here. All the green that you see, except for a clump or 2 of wild bergamot, are weeds and cover crop. Now, these are my tomato rows for tomatoes. And everything from all of these big clumps of dock to all the vetch and the peas and possibly rye that's growing in there and the dead nettle and henbit, it's all got to come out. But I covered up my moringa from last year, and I'm in zone 7 and it should not have survived, but we will see. We will see. Oh, now see this dock. This is what dock does. If you let it go, it grows up and it goes to seed, and then you have a whole bunch more. But it also spreads underground. So there is so much work to do down here. It's not even. It's not even. Not even. Look at these. Look at this. These are weeds and grass. Okay, we're not even going to go in there. I see a whole stand of flowers over there on the other side of the trellis. You have to analyze where your water is running off. It's making it went around this whole thing of course, All of this cover crop held the soil, and it came through there. It finds its way down an open path. Ooh, look at those deer tracks. Big old deer track. Yeah, the electric fence is not deterring them. Okay, so this washed a lot right in here, and we had put flower seed all the way down. And if you see anything green popping up, it's a weed. I just touched the electric line by accident, and it did not shock me. So, yeah. Deer track. Okay. We have to investigate the electric line. You see the garlic over there in that one cleared row. And then I have in that section where you have the little bamboo stakes, I have anise hyssop and the rare Sheffield mum coming back. Those are perennial. I mean, the anise hyssop dies back, but it drops so many seeds, it comes back right where it grew. And I wouldn't be surprised if it didn't grow out of the stem. You know, I see a handful of onions down there. I think it was good that we had all the cover crop. I think I'm going to leave the cover crop to the last minute because look, see where I don't have the cover crop? I have a huge gash of the water, and then it comes around here, comes around here. Last year it all came out this corner here. It came down through there, yeah. All right. Well, look at this elderberry. I am walking in very tall weeds. Look at all these shoots coming up. I've got elderberry shoots coming up all through here. It's going to be really interesting to see what I wind up with this year. As you can see, I had Chase put in this, well, Randy and I put in the T-post, and I was going to electrify it, and I thought, oh, that's overkill. You know, all I have to worry about with elderberry are birds eating the ripe fruit, so I can cover the plants at the last minute. Bugs, it really attracts bugs, okay? Last year, when I took the clumps of berries and I put them in a 5-gallon bucket, and like hundreds of these leaf hoppers, I think, the babies came up and floating on top. Anyway, I'm just hoping that this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 rows of 100-pound fishing line keep the deer, just, you know, suggest to the deer, don't come in. In fact, I don't even have a door. I thought, you know what? They may just not even notice the door and not go in there. Because all they do is, you know, nibble on it, and then the males rut later on. Okay, this is the new apple garden, apple tree garden. And once again, these things are right up against the... I need to get a stake on that. But, oh, how exciting to see some growth. Oh my goodness, look at this. This is aronia berry. And all I put on to protect it was just this green thing. Usually the deer have eaten all of that by now. Oh, look. This one is Kennard's Choice. And I got these from the heirloom fruit tree guy down in Mississippi. Oh, look. I haven't even seen leaves on these bushes. These were moved from the elderberry patch because the deer ate them all. And this has got some action on the buds on the top. And ooh, look at this one. He told me to cut that off, and I didn't do it. Not because I know better than him, I don't, but I just didn't do it. Comfrey's coming up in everywhere you see a stake. We planted comfrey. Ooh, and this one really looks good. This is Hammond. With the accompanying comfrey. And over here, I just have this stake here for my yarrow. I have a little field of yarrow that keeps coming up here. It's just the little baby leaves here. So I don't want that mowed. Oh, I might have to get a new mower. My mower's cutting back. I've got Miami mist right here too. No, I take it back. I'm sorry, that's henbit. That's henbit. Remember, check out the video that Daryl came over in February, pruned these grapevines, and they didn't look like much, and he said, don't worry, they'll come back. Well, this one and that one and this one is coming back. I don't see anything on the others. Let's work our way up the hill. This is the best looking fruit tree. That's a pear. I haven't gotten any fruit here so far. Okay, up the hill. Okay, here we are at the third terrace. Third terrace was added at the end of 2023. Grew a few potatoes here, nothing else. Just put in these lavender plants a few weeks ago. So we have the T-posts. You might have seen that video where Randy got all these T-posts put up. We're gonna have a door right here. So we have a lower door and we're gonna have an upper door up there. So this is gonna be the enclosed orchard. Not sure if I'm gonna move all these out or leave them in. I just want to figure it out. They're rotting, obviously. Okay, so all of these trees were moved. And look at this. We've got leaves. We have got to get the fence up. We've got leaves popping out of that one anyway. Oh, we got a little action here. And of course we have the absolutely gorgeous, I believe this is the common bearded iris that's so common here, the purple one. Oh, look at my mulberry tree. Lots of leaves there. I've had that protected the whole time. I had a lot of blooms on the peach trees. We'll see what happens. Okay, the big reveal is it looks like the hazelnut bushes took because we've got leaves. This got a lot of water. Ooh, you see how the water washed down through here. But this was kind of high, so it went around the bushes, which is good, except for here. This one got really wet. These down here got really wet. That one at the end. I don't think that one at the end might make it. I don't know. Okay. We had 16. I don't know if we still have 16. This is the Miami mist up close. Okay, now here we are at the blackberry arbor, and it's sprouting leaves and it never got pruned. So what I need to do now is I need to go through and just take out all the dead stuff and tie up the other vines. This will be inside the fence, so the deer will eat all of this if I don't get it tied up. So here are the onions I mentioned. Now this is that is as hard as a rock. Wow. How can you fluff up the soil when they're 4 inches apart. That's going to be extremely challenging. Let's see if we have we have one. Oh my goodness, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 4 asparagus right there. And we have one here, 5, 6, and a big one here, 7. Oh, and a big one over there, 8. So all very excited about that. Let's take a peek in here. These 36 plants all look like they're going to survive. They're going to need more protection than that, though. And look at the the strawberries exploded under the netting. I'm going to have to get some other method for dealing with this. Okay, this is lemon sorrel. That's coming out because that's a perennial, and this is just gonna be an annual bed. And here's the other one. I don't see any that have conked out. Cilantro doesn't look so good, but anyway. These are perennials that are going to be, they just spent the winter here. These were all given to me by Jamie. These are tomatoes. That's probably 50 right there. In fact, there's probably 500 tomato plants right there. I could just do that and not even go to the trouble to seed. But they're all those little cherry tomatoes. Horseradish has outgrown this pot. And look at this. Salvia. Gorgeous. Jamie gave me that. I want to move all these plants onto my new perennial area over here that Chase is working on. Okay, even though this is more purple than blue, it's called Blue Spectacle. Hey, that's all for today. I have to get working with my helpers. They're only here for four more hours. And Randy's moving a hosta plant to the ground. And he's moving the lemon sorrel to a temporary pot until we can get this area over here worked. That's going to be my perennial bed. And so much more. If you're new here, I live on a little over 9 acres in Middle Tennessee, my home state where I was raised and educated, and I left for the big city, first DC, then New York, and then LA for 32 years, where I started my garden in 2012. My 13th anniversary on YouTube is coming up on the 22nd of this month, and I hope to do something special. But for today, you've seen what my garden looks like on April the 5th. And we're expecting 4.5 inches tonight, so it's just, I hope there's no lightning, because what I want to do is go and stand over there where the rivers meet, the tributaries come together, and see that water rushing down, because that's going to be a sight to behold. Not a great sight for people who are underwater today, like in Hopkinsville, Kentucky, and those areas. So my heart goes out to everybody whose gardens have been washed out. This is going to be hard enough to recover from, so who knows what tomorrow brings. But God bless you, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.